The great starship Aurora glided through the silent sea of space, its silver hull glowing against the light of distant stars. Inside, the crew worked quietly, preparing for their arrival in a system few humans had ever seen. Among the crew was Aaron, a young envoy chosen for a task that many believed was impossible. He was not a warrior, nor a great leader, but he had a gift for listening, for speaking with honesty, and for showing respect where others only brought pride. For months, Aaron had studied the culture of the Lemurians, a race known for their tall forms, their flowing movements, and their glowing eyes that carried the light of their twin suns. Every record described them as graceful but distant, a people who guarded their secrets and distrusted outsiders. No human had ever been allowed into their royal city, and yet an invitation had been sent, with Aaron's name on it. As the ship slowed into orbit around the Lemurian world, Aaron stood at the viewing window. The planet was beautiful, wrapped in soft clouds with shining rivers that stretched like silver veins across its green land. Towering mountains rose like blades of crystal, reflecting sunlight in colors he had never seen before. Aaron felt his heart race. He whispered to himself that this was more than a mission, it was history. The captain approached him, resting a hand on his shoulder. "You understand what this means, don't you? If you fail, they may close their gates forever." Aaron nodded. "I know. That's why I won't fail." A shuttle carried him down through the clouds, guided by beams of golden light from the city below. As the mist parted, the royal capital appeared. It rose from the earth like a living jewel, its towers curved like the petals of a flower, glowing faintly with the energy of the planet itself. Bridges of crystal stretched between tall spires, and at the center stood the grand hall, where his meeting would begin. Aaron had seen wonders before, but nothing compared to this city. The shuttle landed in a wide courtyard paved with white stone. Lemurian guards stood in silence, their armor shining like liquid silver. Their glowing eyes followed Aaron as he stepped out, but their faces showed no warmth. They did not bow, nor did they smile. They only waited. A guide appeared, a tall man with robes that shimmered in the light. "Human envoy." The man said in a voice smooth as flowing water, "The council awaits you. Follow." Aaron walked with steady steps, though his chest tightened. With nerves, the halls were vast and filled with art tapestries of light woven into patterns that shifted as he passed, statues of crystal that seemed alive. Every step reminded him that he was a stranger here. Watched closely, measured silently. At last, the guide brought him to the grand hall. The doors opened, and Aaron stepped into a chamber so wide it seemed to hold the sky itself. Pillars rose like trees of light, and a long circle of elders sat on high seats, their eyes glowing in shades of gold, blue, and green. At the far end of the hall stood the throne of the royal family, though it was empty for now. The elder in the center spoke. "You are Aaron of Earth?" "Yes," Aaron answered, bowing slightly. "I come with respect and with hope for friendship between our people." The words echoed in the chamber, but no one replied. The elders studied him, their glowing eyes sharp, their silence heavy. Finally, one of them said, "Humans have been known to seek what is not theirs. Why should we open our gates to you?" Aaron's heart pounded, but he lifted his voice with calm strength. "Because we are not here to take. We are here to learn, to share, and to stand as friends, not conquerors. I am not a soldier, nor do I carry weapons. I bring only words and goodwill." The elders murmured among themselves. Some looked doubtful, others thoughtful. It was then, as the hall grew tense, that a soft voice broke the stillness. "Let me see him." Every elder turned toward the side of the throne. From the shadowed arch, a figure stepped forward. She was taller than Aaron, her steps light as if she moved on air itself. Her hair glimmered like silver threads, and her eyes glowing with a soft violet hue met Aaron's with unshaken curiosity. She was the princess, though Aaron did not yet know her name. She walked closer, ignoring the whispers of the elders. "You are the human envoy," she said gently. "You came across the stars to stand here?" Aaron bowed again, his voice steady though his breath caught. "Yes, I came because I believe our worlds can know each other, not as strangers, but as allies." The princess studied him in silence, Her eyes glowed brighter, as if reflecting her thoughts. Unlike the elders, she did not look at him with suspicion. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, almost as if she was trying to understand the shape of his heart. Finally, she smiled faintly. "You speak with plain words. That is rare here." The elders shifted uneasily, but no one interrupted. The princess turned back toward her seat near the throne, her glowing eyes still fixed on Aaron. "Perhaps," she said, her voice carrying across the hall, "it is time we listen to a human." Aaron felt a spark of relief. He did not know what would follow, but he knew one thing with certainty: in this vast hall, among countless glowing eyes, hers were the only ones that looked at him not as a stranger, but as something more. And though he could not yet explain why, Aaron felt that this was only the beginning. The next morning, Aaron was guided through the shining streets of the Lemurian capital. The sun was rising between the crystal towers, and the city glowed as if every stone was alive with light. Lemurians moved gracefully through the streets, their long robes flowing like water. Yet wherever Aaron walked, eyes followed him. Some looked with cold curiosity, others with quiet disapproval. He could feel that he was still an outsider. His guide, the tall man from before, walked ahead in silence. Aaron wanted to ask questions, but the man gave no chance. Finally, Aaron spoke. "Your city is beautiful. I have never seen anything like it." The guide did not turn. Few outsiders ever have. Aaron understood. This city was not built for strangers, and his presence here was a test. He stayed quiet, saving his words for the one who might listen. They reached a wide balcony overlooking the river that shone like silver. Waiting there was the princess he had seen in the grand hall. Today she wore a robe of pale blue, and the glow in her violet eyes seemed softer in the morning light. "You may leave us," she told the guide. Her voice was calm but firm. The man bowed and stepped away. Aaron was surprised. He had not expected to be left alone with her. The princess turned to him. "Do you know who I am?" Aaron shook his head. "I know only that you spoke for me yesterday, when no one else would." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "I am Nira, daughter of the royal line. Some call me a princess, though I do not care for titles. And you are Aaron, the human envoy who speaks with plain words." Aaron bowed lightly. "It is an honor, Princess Nira." She tilted her head. "Did I not say I do not care for titles?" Aaron gave a small smile. "Then I shall call you Nira, if you allow it." Her eyes glowed a little brighter, and for a moment she simply studied him, as though weighing his soul. "You are different," she said at last. "Most who come here bring polished words and hidden pride. But you speak as though you are not afraid to be small." "I do not see myself as small or great," Aaron replied. "I see myself as a person, and you as another. That is enough for me." Nira's smile widened just slightly. She turned to the river, resting her hands on the crystal railing. "Tell me about your world. Tell me what humans are like, not what your leaders say, but what you know." Aaron thought carefully. He spoke not of power or wealth, but of simple things. He told her about the laughter of children in the fields, about songs sung around fires on cold nights, about the courage of people who stand for one another in hard times. He told her of mistakes, to how humans often failed, argued, and struggled, but still tried again. As he spoke, Nira listened with a stillness that showed true attention. Her glowing eyes did not waver, and her expression softened as if each word opened something new within her. When he finished, she said quietly, "Your words carry no armor. They are unguarded. Do you not fear that others may use them against you?" Darren met her gaze. "If honesty is a weapon, then I would rather carry it than a blade." Her glow brightened again, and for a moment, the light of her eyes reflected in his. They walked together along the balcony. The city stretched before them like a dream. But Aaron felt that the real wonder was beside him. Nira's steps were graceful, but her curiosity felt almost childlike. She asked him about human food, about music, about the meaning of a smile. Aaron answered as best he could, sometimes laughing at the simplicity of her questions, but never mocking them. Each answer seemed to delight her, as if she was discovering a world beyond her own. As the sun climbed higher, a shadow of unease passed over her face. "The council does not trust you," she said. "They see you as a stranger who will bring change. And change is something they fear." Aaron sighed. "I cannot blame them. Change is never easy. But I did not come here to take anything. I came to offer friendship. That is all." Nira looked at him for a long time, then nodded slowly. "I believe you. But belief is not enough for the council. They see only the past. We're outsiders brought ruin to other worlds. They will not accept you quickly. Then I will wait," Aaron said simply. "Trust cannot be forced. It must grow." Her eyes glowed warmly, as if she admired his patience. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "There's a place in this city that no visitor has ever seen. A garden kept only for the royal family. If I were to take you there, it would show my trust. But it would also bring risk to me. Do you understand?" Aaron's breath caught. "Yes, and I would never betray your trust." For a moment, silence rested between them. The sound of the river shimmered in the air. Then Nira smiled again, softer than before. "We shall see." Their time together ended when her attendants appeared at the edge of the balcony. She straightened, her royal calm returning, and nodded politely to Aaron. "We will meet again soon. Until then, carry your honesty as you have done. It may yet open doors." Aaron bowed. "I will." As she left with her attendants, Aaron felt the weight of her presence remain. The glowing light of her eyes stayed in his mind, brighter than the sunlit towers around him. He realized then that this mission was no longer only about peace between two worlds. It was also about the bond beginning to form between a human envoy and a Lumerian princess, a bond fragile but full of promise. And though the path ahead was uncertain, Aaron felt hope stronger than ever before. The days that followed moved slowly but meaningfully for Aaron. He was given a small chamber inside the palace, simple but filled with soft light that came from the glowing stones in the walls. From his window, he could see the shining towers and the silver river winding through the city every morning. He wondered if Nira would call for him again, and each time she did, he felt both relief and excitement. Their meetings were not grand. They did not take place in the throne room or before the council. Instead, they walked through the quieter parts of the city, where the noise of the world was less. Sometimes she asked him about Earth, about the forests, mountains, and oceans. Other times, she asked about small things, like how humans shared food or how they celebrated when a child was born. Aaron always answered with care. He told her of music that rose from simple instruments, of families sitting together during storms, and of stories passed from one generation to another. He spoke not as a teacher but as a friend, and she listened with eyes that glowed brighter with every tale. One afternoon, as they crossed a bridge of crystal that shimmered with light, Nira asked, "Do humans ever fear the sky?" Aaron looked up at the wide heavens above them. "Yes, sometimes. It is so big that it can make us feel small. But we also look at the stars and dream of reaching them. Fear and hope often live side by side in us." Nira tilted her head slightly, her silver hair catching the sunlight. "Here, we are taught not to fear. Yet I think some fear hides inside us still, only in silence. Perhaps it is better, as you say, to admit it, and then hope as well." Aaron smiled. "Maybe that is why we can learn from each other. Humans can bring honesty, and you can bring courage." Her glow deepened, and she seemed pleased by the thought. But not everyone shared her curiosity. Wherever they went, Aaron noticed the stares. Some Lumerians looked with disapproval, their glowing eyes narrowing as if his presence was an insult. He heard whispers behind him, though he could not understand every word. The meaning was clear enough. Many did not welcome a human walking beside their princess. One evening, as they returned to the palace gates, a group of young Lumerians blocked their path. Their robes shimmered with bright colors, and their eyes glowed with sharp light. One of them stepped forward and said coldly, "Princess, why do you walk with this outsider? Does he deserve such honor?" Nira's calm face did not change. "He is my guest, and he deserves respect." The young man sneered. "Respect is earned, not given. He is not of our kind. He does not belong here." His glowing eyes turned on Aaron with open challenge. Aaron felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his voice steady. I did not come here to take what is yours. I came only to share what is mine. If that makes me unworthy in your eyes, then so be it. But I will not return your anger with anger." The Lumerian's glow flared, but Nira stepped forward before he could speak again. Her voice was quiet but sharp. "Enough. You speak of honor, yet your words show none. If you value me, then value the choice I make to walk with him." The group hesitated, unsettled by her firmness. At last, they stepped aside, though their eyes still burned with suspicion. Nira led Aaron forward, her steps unbroken. When they were clear of the group, Aaron spoke softly. "I did not mean to cause you trouble." Nira shook her head. "The trouble is not yours, it is theirs. They fear what they do not know. But I do not fear. I see more than what lies on the surface." Her words brought a warmth to Aaron's chest. He realized then how rare her courage was. To stand against her own people for a human meant more than any gift she could give. That night, as he sat in his chamber, Aaron thought of her words and her steady gaze. He knew their bond was growing, though he could not yet name what it was. The next day, Nira took him to a quiet courtyard filled with tall crystal trees. The branches glowed softly, casting gentle colors across the ground. She sat on a low stone bench and gestured for him to sit beside her. "Do humans keep secrets?" she asked suddenly. Aaron thought about it. Yes, sometimes to protect others, and sometimes out of fear. But secrets can also harm when they hide the truth for too long. Nira looked down at her hands. "I have a secret, one I have not shared with anyone." Aaron turned to her carefully. "You do not need to share it with me if it is a burden." Her violet eyes lifted to his, glowing softly. "But I want to, because I trust you." Aaron's chest tightened at her words. "Then I will listen, and I will keep it safe." She hesitated, then spoke in a low voice. "Since I was young, I have felt that our walls are too high. The elders believe we must remain apart, untouched by outsiders. But I have always dreamed of what lies beyond. I dream of walking under other skies, of seeing stars not from afar, but close. Yet I am told these dreams are dangerous." Aaron studied, her glowing eyes filled with longing and quiet sorrow. Dreams are never dangerous by themselves. It is the fear of them that becomes dangerous. Your dreams are not wrong, Nira. They are the beginning of change. Her eyes glowed brighter, and for a moment, her face softened with relief. "You make it sound simple, because it is simple." Aaron said gently, "The hardest part is believing it." A silence passed between them, but it was not heavy. It was the silence of two souls who understood each other without needing more words. When Nira finally spoke again, her voice was lighter. "Perhaps one day I will see your world with my own eyes. Perhaps I will hear the laughter you spoke of and the songs by the fire." Aaron smiled. "If that day comes, I will be honored to show you." As the glow of the crystal trees wrapped around them, Aaron felt that their bond was no longer just curiosity. It was becoming something deeper, something that reached beyond the walls of her city or the distance between their worlds. And though he could not yet see the full path ahead, he knew with certainty that their story had only just begun. The palace was full of wonders, but there were places even Aaron was not allowed to see. He often noticed locked gates, guarded halls, and doors that seemed to lead into secret chambers. The Lumerians were not careless with their treasures, and Aaron respected the limits placed before him. Still, he could not help but wonder about the mysteries that lay hidden behind those glowing walls. One evening, after the long sun had set and the short sun glowed like a blue pearl in the sky, Nira came to him quietly. She wore a simple robe instead of the royal garments she usually wore in the council. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light as she said, "Come with me, but speak to no one of this." Aaron rose at once, sensing the weight in her voice. "I will follow," he promised. They moved through silent corridors of the palace, passing places where no guards stood. The air grew cooler, and the light of the walls dimmed until only the soft glow of Nira's eyes guided the way. At last, they reached a door of crystal, carved with patterns like flowing rivers. Nira touched her hand to the door, and it opened soundlessly. Beyond lay a garden unlike any Aaron had ever imagined. The air was warm and alive with the scent of glowing flowers. Tall trees rose high, their branches shining with soft colors that shifted like gentle waves. Small streams of silver water crossed the ground, their surfaces sparkling as if stars had fallen into them. Aaron stepped inside slowly, his breath caught in wonder. "This place is beautiful," he whispered. And Ira followed him and closed the door behind them. Her eyes glowed brighter as she watched his reaction. "This is the royal garden. Only the royal family may enter. No outsider has ever seen it." Aaron turned to her, surprised. "Then why bring me here?" "Because I told you I'd trust you," she said softly. "And because I want you to see the heart of my world. If you are to understand us, it must begin here." They walked together along a path of crystal stones. Strange birds with wings of light flew from branch to branch, singing songs that sounded like wind over glass. Aaron felt as if he had stepped into a dream, a world untouched by fear or conflict. Nira stopped beside a glowing tree with wide leaves that shimmered like emerald glass. She placed her hand against the trunk and closed her eyes. "This tree has stood for 1,000 years. My ancestors planted it when our city was first built. They believed it carried the strength of our people." Aaron touched the tree lightly. It felt warm beneath his hand, as if it held life within its core. "It is strong," he said. "But strength does not only come from stone or wood. Sometimes strength is in the heart, unseen." Nira opened her eyes and looked at him. "You always speak of the heart. Perhaps that is what makes humans different. Our people are taught to show only calm, never to let feelings guide us. But when I listen to you, I feel as though feelings are not weakness at all." Aaron smiled. "Feelings are not weakness. They are what make us try again when reason says we should give up. They are what make us stand for each other." Her eyes glowed more brightly at his words, and she turned to lead him deeper into the garden. They reached a small clearing where a pool of silver water lay still as a mirror. Flowers surrounded the pool, their light soft and steady. Nira sat on the stone edge of the pool, and Aaron sat beside her. The reflections of the glowing plants danced on the water, painting their faces with shifting colors. For a while, neither spoke. The silence felt peaceful, filled with the sounds of water and distant birds. Then Nira said quietly, "Do you know what this place means? It is more than a garden. It is the place of trust. When a member of the royal family brings someone here, it is a vow. It means that the bond is unbroken, that trust has been given fully." Aaron turned to her with surprise. "Then you have given me this trust." Her violet eyes glowed with steady light as she nodded. "Yes, though the council may not accept you, I do. You have shown me honesty, and in return, I give you trust." Aaron felt a deep weight in his chest, not a burden, but a gift. He bowed his head slightly. "I will not betray it, Nira. I swear to you." She smiled, and for the first time, the smile reached her eyes completely. "I know." They walked again, moving slowly beneath the glowing branches. Nira spoke of her childhood, how she would sneak into the garden when the lessons of the palace became too heavy. She spoke of dreams she had never shared with others, dreams of flying beyond her world, of walking among stars. Aaron listened carefully, never interrupting, only encouraging her to speak more. When she finished, he told her of his own childhood. He spoke of simple fields, of nights when he lay under the wide sky and counted stars, dreaming of what lay beyond them. He told her how he never thought he would be chosen for such a mission, yet here he was, standing in the heart of another world. Their laughter rose softly in the garden as they compared the games of human children with the games of young Lumerians. Though the details were different, they both saw the same spirit, the joy of play, the courage of youth, the hope of tomorrow. As the short sun lowered in the sky and the garden's glow deepened, Nira stopped once more. She looked at Aaron with eyes that shone like living jewels. "When I brought you here, I wondered if I had made a mistake. But now, I see that I have not. For the first time, I believe that change is possible." Aaron felt his heart stir. "Change begins with one step. You have already taken it." Her eyes lingered on him, and for a moment, neither moved. The glow of the garden wrapped around them, as if the world itself watched in silence. Then Nira looked away, her calm returning. though her glow still shone warmly. "We must go. If we stay too long, others may ask questions." They left the hidden garden together, closing the crystal door behind them. But as Aaron walked back to his chamber that night, he knew something important had shifted. The garden was not only a place of beauty, it was a vow, a promise, and a secret shared only between them. And though the council still doubted him, Aaron felt that with Nira's trust, he could face whatever came next. The royal garden remained in Aaron's memory like a glowing dream, but outside its walls, the world was not as gentle. The days after their secret visit grew tense. Whispers followed him more openly now, and the stares of the Lumerians sharpened. Wherever he walked, what had once been silent doubt was now turning into open resistance. The council summoned him to the grand hall once more. As Aaron entered, he could feel the weight of their glowing eyes pressing against him. The chamber was colder than before, filled not with curiosity, but with judgment. The eldest of the council spoke. First, his voice deep and edged with steel. "Human, your presence here has unsettled our city. You walk beside our princess. You speak words that stir her heart. And now the people question if our walls are strong enough to keep out the influence of outsiders. You were invited here only as a guest, not as one who seeks to change us." Aaron stood calmly, though his chest tightened. "I have not sought to change you. I have only spoken truth when asked, and shared what it means to be human. If that is seen as dangerous, then perhaps the danger lies not in me but in the fear of hearing new things." A murmur spread across the chamber. Some elders leaned forward with narrowed eyes, while others looked uneasy, as though torn between. Agreement and suspicion. Another council member rose, her golden eyes glowing brightly. "Words are seeds, and seeds grow into roots. What you plant in our princess may grow into something that breaks the balance of our people. This cannot be allowed. You must leave the city at once." The command struck Aaron like a blow, yet he did not lower his head. "If my presence brings trouble, then I will go. But know this, I did not come to take anything from you. I came only to offer friendship. If you choose to close your gates, it will not be because of who I am, but because of what you fear." The eldest counselor's voice thundered across the hall. "Enough. You will leave by sunrise tomorrow." "The matter is closed." Aaron bowed slightly. "As you command." He turned to leave, but as he did, he saw Nira standing in the shadows of the hall. Her eyes glowed fiercely, her face calm but her anger clear. She had not been called to speak, yet her presence was enough to shake the silence. That night, Aaron returned to his chamber, gathering the few things he had brought from Earth. His heart was heavy, not because of failure, but because of the bond he would be forced to break. He had come to believe that change was possible here, but the council's fear was greater than hope. As he prepared, a soft knock sounded at his door. Aaron opened it, and there stood Nira, her eyes glowing with urgency. She stepped inside quickly and closed the door behind her. "They cannot do this," she said firmly. "You have done nothing wrong." Aaron looked at her sadly. "It is their choice. If I remain, I will only bring more trouble to you." Her voice softened, but her glow did not fade. "Do you think I cannot face trouble? Do you think my voice is so weak that I cannot defend what I believe?" Aaron shook his head. "You are strong, Nira, stronger than anyone I have met. But I do not want to be the reason you fight against your own people." She stepped closer, her eyes fixed on his. "And if you leave, what then? Do you believe the whispers will end? Do you believe the fear will fade?" "No, Aaron, they will only grow stronger. If they send you away, it will prove their fear is greater than truth." Her words struck him deeply. He realized she was right. His leaving would not bring peace, only silence that hid the same division beneath. Nira took a deep breath. "Tomorrow, at sunrise, I will go with you to the gates. I will stand beside you and speak before the council and the people. If they wish to turn you away, they will have to turn me away too." Aaron's eyes widened. "You would do that for me?" Her violet glow shone brighter, steady and unshaken. "Not only for you, for what you represent, for the truth that friendship is not weakness. If I stand silent, then I am no better than the fear that holds them." For a long moment, Aaron could not speak. His throat was tight, his heart heavy, and light at the same time. At last, he said quietly, "You honor me more than I deserve." Nira's voice softened. "No, you deserve it because you are honest, and because you see me not as a title, but as a person. That is rare." The night passed slowly. Aaron slept little, his thoughts filled with uncertainty. When the first light of dawn touched the sky, he dressed and walked with Nira to the gates of the city. The council and many citizens had gathered there. Their glowing eyes turned to him with cold expectation, and the eldest counselor stepped forward. "Human, it is time. Leave our city, and do not return." Before Aaron could reply, Nira stepped ahead of him. Her voice carried across the gathering, like a clear bell. "No, he will not leave alone. If you cast him out, then you cast me out as well." The crowd stirred in shock. The counselors rose from their seats, their glowing eyes wide. The eldest spoke harshly. "Princess, you cannot defy us." Nira's voice grew stronger. "I can, and I will. You tell me that humans cannot be trusted. Yet I have seen his honesty. You tell me that change will bring ruin. Yet I feel only hope when I listen to him. If you wish to turn him away, then you must also turn away your own blood." Her words fell like a storm upon the crowd. Some gasped. Others whispered fiercely. The elders looked shaken. Unused to such defiance from the royal line, Aaron stood in silence. Moved beyond words, he had been ready to leave with nothing but quiet dignity. But now, standing beside Nira, he felt something stronger than duty. He felt the spark of change. The eldest counselor's voice faltered as he answered, "This is not our way." Nira lifted her chin, her glowing eyes burning like fire. "Then perhaps your way must change." The gathering fell into silence. No command came. No guard moved to stop her. For the first time, the council had no answer. Aaron looked at Nira, and she looked back at him. In that shared glance, he knew. They had crossed a line that could never be undone. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The morning air was crisp and clear as Aaron and Nira stood together at the city gates. The golden light of the twin suns reflected off the crystal towers behind them. But the warmth of the day could not reach the cold stares of the gathered council and citizens. The tension was so thick that Aaron could feel it pressing on his chest. Nira's eyes glowed softly but firmly. "Are you ready?" she asked. Aaron took a deep breath. "I am. If we face them together, at least we face them honestly." The eldest counselor stepped forward, his glowing eyes narrowing. "Princess, you have defied our command. You know the consequences of standing with an outsider." Nira lifted her chin, her voice clear. "I know. I also know that truth and trust matter more than fear. This human has brought honesty into my life. He has shown courage where others would have hidden. I will not turn him away because the council fears change." A murmur spread through the crowd. Some Lemurians whispered among themselves, unsure how to respond. The counselors' faces showed surprise, and a few looked genuinely conflicted. For the first time, Nira's words had unsettled their certainty. Aaron stepped forward slightly. His hands relaxed at his sides. "I have never sought to harm this city or your people. I came only to offer friendship and understanding. If you choose to close your gates, it will not be my departure that ends it. It will be your fear." The council's eldest spoke again, his tone sharp. "Enough words. The law is clear. No outsider may influence the royal family or enter the inner city. You must leave immediately." Nira's violet eyes flared with quiet fire. "Then I will leave with him. If your law forbids his presence, then it must also forbid mine. I choose him and the truth over fear." The crowd gasped. Aaron saw some citizens whispering, pointing, and shaking their heads in disbelief. Some of the younger Lemurians looked inspired, their glowing eyes wide with admiration. Nira's courage was shaking the old traditions, but it was beautiful in its clarity. The eldest counselor stepped closer, trying to assert control. "Princess, reconsider. You risk your position, your future, and the respect of your people. Is this worth it for a human?" Nira's voice grew firmer, more certain. "Yes, it is worth it because the human represents something greater than himself. He represents honesty, courage, and the hope that our people can change. I will not Step back because your fear tells me to. I stand here freely, with my own choice. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest he had never known. He realized that Nira's choice was more than personal, it was a statement for the future. A challenge to old fears, and a declaration that courage could shape destiny. The counselors looked at each other, their glow dimming slightly. They had never faced such determination from the royal line, and the weight of her words caused hesitation. Silence hung in the air like a held breath. Aaron spoke then, his voice calm but clear. If I am to leave, I will not do so in fear or dishonor. I will stand here because I believe in the truth of our friendship and the honesty we have shared. I do not know what the future holds, but I know that facing it with Nira is worth any risk. A younger council member whispered something to the elders. Some heads nodded, some frowned. But the tension slowly began to shift. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what would come next. Nira reached for Aaron's hand, her touch light but grounding. Then we stand together. Let them see what honesty and courage look like when they are not afraid. Aaron held her hand gently, feeling the glow of her warmth and the strength of her conviction. The moment was quiet, but it carried a weight that neither the council nor the citizens could ignore. The eldest counselor finally spoke, his voice low and cautious. If you leave with him, princess, it will be your choice. The city will remember this day, and so will the council. You understand the consequences. Nira nodded without hesitation. I understand. I also understand that remaining silent would make me weaker than a human who has shown nothing but respect. I choose to stand with him. Aaron squeezed her hand lightly, his own resolve strengthening. Then let us go forward together, whatever comes next. We face it as equals. The gates began to open slowly, and the path beyond the city stretched into the world beyond. Aaron looked at the glowing towers one last time, taking in the beauty of the city and the courage it took for Nira to defy it. She, too, looked back briefly, her violet glow shining bright with certainty. As they stepped through the gates, the citizens watched in stunned silence. Some whispered encouragement, others whispered disbelief. A few of the younger Lemurians walked closer to see the human who had won the princess's trust. Outside the city, the air was fresh and alive with possibility. Aaron felt the thrill of freedom and the weight of responsibility. He had been ready to leave quietly, but now he realized that leaving alongside Nira was a declaration, a promise, and a beginning. They walked together in silence for a while, each step echoing the bond that had formed between them. Nira finally spoke, her voice soft but glowing with certainty. You have changed something here, Aaron, not by force, but by honesty. The council may resist, but they will remember. The city will remember, and perhaps, one day, fear will know. Longer guide decisions here. Aaron looked at her, moved by her words. I could never have done this alone. Your courage made the difference. Without you, I would have only been a stranger passing through. Her eyes glowed warmly as she smiled. And without you, I would have remained silent. Sometimes, it takes an outsider to show what is truly possible. As the sun rose higher, their shadows stretched long across the path, to figures side by side, walking toward the unknown. The bond between them had grown stronger than the walls of tradition, stronger than the fears of the council, and stronger than any doubt that might arise. In that moment, Aaron realized that their story was not just about one human and one princess. It was about trust, courage, and the power of truth. And though the world beyond the city gates was uncertain, he knew that with Nira by his side, they could face it together. The journey ahead was unclear, but one thing was certain: the choice had been made, and their bond had been sealed. Aaron and Nira walked together through the fields beyond the city gates. The sun warmed their backs, and a gentle wind rustled the leaves of distant trees. Behind them, the city of Lemuria gleamed like a jewel, its towers reflecting the morning light. Though the council still watched from afar, the princess had made her choice, and the human envoy walked beside her openly for the first time. The road ahead was unknown, but neither felt fear. There was a quiet strength in the bond they had formed, stronger than any laws, stronger than any council, stronger than doubt itself. Aaron looked at Nira, her eyes glowing softly in the morning light, and realized how much they had shared in such a short time. Trust, honesty, courage, these were the bridges that had brought them together. Nira spoke first, her voice calm yet full of determination. We cannot return to the city yet. The council will debate endlessly. The people will talk. But out here, we are free to think, to breathe, and to decide what comes next. Aaron nodded. Yes, out here, the only rules are the ones we choose to follow. And the choices we make will define us, not the fears of others. They walked for hours through meadows where flowers glowed faintly in the soft sunlight. Strange. Birds sang in the trees, their songs unfamiliar but beautiful. The quiet of the world outside the city allowed them to speak freely, to share thoughts that had been held back by walls and watchful eyes. I have never felt this before, Nira admitted after a long pause. To walk beside someone who sees me, not my title. To speak without fear of judgment. It is freeing. Aaron smiled gently. That is how friendship begins, and sometimes it grows into something more. Something that can change both hearts and worlds. Her glow brightened slightly, reflecting the depth of her thoughts. You speak as if you know already. But I do not. I only know that I trust you. That is enough for now. Aaron took her hand in his, careful but certain. Trust is never small. It is the strongest thing we carry. For a time, they walked in silence. Letting the gentle sounds of the world guide them, they came to a small stream. Its waters clear and cool, and Aaron knelt to touch it. The water shimmered as it passed over his fingers. This reminds me of home, he said softly. Rivers like this run across my world too. People gather beside them, laugh beside them, and sometimes dream beside them. Nira knelt beside him, her glowing hands hovering above the water without touching it. I would like to see your world. One day, she said, to see the skies you describe, the songs you speak of, the laughter of your people. I want to understand fully, not through words, but through experience. Aaron smiled, a warmth spreading through him. If that day comes, I will show you everything. You will see the stars, the oceans, and the mountains. You will hear the songs, and you will walk where my people have walked. You will know it as I know it. Her eyes glowed more brightly than ever, and for a moment, silence held a quiet promise between them. They continued walking until the sun began to lower, casting golden light across the fields. In that moment, Nira stopped and turned to Aaron. Her gaze was steady, her glow reflecting determination and emotion alike. Aaron, she said softly, you are no longer just a visitor. You are a part of this world, and in some way, you are a part of me. I do not know what the future holds, but I know that we face it together. Aaron met her gaze, feeling the weight and beauty of her words. And I promise, Nira, that I will stand with you, no matter what comes, in this world or yours. I will be beside you. For a long moment, they simply looked at each other, their hands still joined, hearts beating with quiet certainty. Then, as if by unspoken agreement, Nira leaned forward slightly, her eyes glowing warmly. You are my first human friend in a way I have never known, she said softly. And that means more than you can imagine. Aaron's chest tightened, a deep warmth spreading through him. And you are my first true friend in this world I did not know. You have shown me that even in fear, courage and honesty can shine brighter. The wind picked up slightly, rustling through the tall grass around them. Nira's glow pulsed softly as she spoke again. We will face challenges, Aaron. There will be those who resist, who do not understand what we have. But together, we can show them that trust and friendship can create a path forward. Aaron nodded, and if they doubt, we will remind them, not with words alone, but with the strength of what we share. As the suns dipped lower, casting long shadows, they found a quiet hill overlooking the river that shimmered back in the distance. They sat together, watching the city's glow fade as the night approached. For the first time, Aaron felt the full weight of what they had accomplished. The council could resist, the people could whisper, and the city could resist change, but they had already taken the first step. Nira leaned slightly against him, her glow soft and gentle. Do you think we can change the hearts of others? She asked quietly. Aaron smiled, brushing a strand of her glowing hair from her face. I do not know, but I know that hearts will listen when trust and courage lead the way. And with you, I believe it is possible. The first stars appeared above them, faint but steady. Nira's eyes reflected their light, and Aaron felt a sense of peace unlike anything he had ever known. Here, beyond the walls of fear, they had found a world that belonged to both of them, a place where friendship, trust, and hope could grow. She turned her gaze to him, her violet eyes shining. Thank you, Aaron, for showing me that even a single voice, a single choice, can make a difference. Aaron smiled softly. Thank you, Nira, for showing me that courage and honesty can shine brighter than fear. Together, we have begun something that neither of us could have done alone. As night fell, they sat side by side, their hands entwined, watching the lights of the city twinkle in the distance. The stars above mirrored the glow of her eyes, and Aaron realized that this was not an ending, it was a beginning. For the first time, he felt completely certain of one thing: whatever the future held, they would face it together, hand in hand, hearts open and unafraid. And in that moment, under the glow of stars and the promise of tomorrow, Aaron knew that their story was just beginning, a story of trust, courage, and a bond that would carry them beyond worlds.